Well, hello everybody. How are you doing this evening? I'm Eve with the Baby's Booty. And the show that we have outlined for you tonight is going to have some reality checks here. We're going to be pretty serious, not a whole lot of craziness. It'll still be some crazy because, we can't have a channel without it being a little bit crazy. But we have to have an honest conversation with ourselves. And I thought, what better time to do that than now? Because there's so much going on in the world and so many folks trying to go into business for themselves. So I thought that now would be a really good time to, be open and frank. So this conversation is going to focus on embroidery. However, the conversation can apply to any of our crafts when you're talking about entrepreneurship. But the main focus tonight definitely is going to be on our Redline embroidery machine because number one, they had a really good sale on their machines. There have been some upgrades to the machines that we're going to talk about. And just to really let you know what you're getting into when you're talking about getting into doing embroidery. Okay. So, at any rate, before we get deep into this, I would like to say hello to the folks that are in here with us. And if you find that, you enjoy what we got going on here on this channel, please consider subscribing. We would appreciate you subscribing to our channel as well as hit the like button. We appreciate that too. We also have a Facebook group that you can join us. It's the Hoop Group, or you can look for the Baby's Booty, either one on Facebook, and it should pull us up. Please join us over there. We have a lot of fun. We share images of the projects that we've been working on, as well as you can ask questions and get some assistance if you need to from many of the helpful members there, including myself. You also have memberships available here on this channel. So if you're interested, the link is in the description below where you can join this channel and have access to some exclusive emojis, as well as if you, depending upon which level you choose, we also have captain's perks as well. So it's pretty cool. And we always appreciate any support. Just being here is support. And we definitely appreciate you joining us this week. So in our chat, we have a lot of folks that come in here on the regular basis, and I want to say hi to everyone. So Crafty, happy Sunday to you as well. Thank you for joining us, and thank you so very much for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. I appreciate it. Inspiration Creations from Canada, hello, how are you? T. Johnson, good evening. Diana Henderson, hello to you as well. Beverly Smith, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member, and hello to you too. EJ's daughter, hello, how are you? And thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. We appreciate you being here. Mary Brown, hello to you too. Heather Butler, hey peeps. Hello to you as well. And thank you, Heather, for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Lori Campbell, Erica McNeil, Deborah Harris Neal, and Miss Diane. Excuse heard you. I heard you. I heard you. Thank you. Not sure what happened to my brand new microphone that I just bought and got so that you guys wouldn't have to. Hello, thank you. Sorry. Not sure what happened. I bought a new microphone, and of course now I'm not using it. But I was using it, and it just stopped. I got a new microphone off of Amazon, and that's disconcerting. So I don't know what happened. I'm sure you guys heard me earlier. I'm sure you all heard me earlier. But anyways, I don't know what happened, and I don't know where I cut out. I need to find out where I cut out because I was saying hi to everyone. Beautiful soul, did you hear me? Sound is gone. Oh my God. I didn't hit the mute that time. I didn't. No, it's this. It's a I know, right? Harmony Ling is not a normal Sunday unless we have no sound. And I heard my husband was yelling from back there, "You're muted." I look like a silent movie. I'm sorry. Yeah, I bought a new thing. This is supposed to be a lapel mic, right? First of all, it's kind of big to be a lapel mic, and this dress is just too cute to have it right there. But anyway, so I was holding it, but even still, it's it was pretty pricey. Not super high, but it, got it off of Amazon, and I was like, okay, cool, because the ear thing, I sounded kind of muffled to me, and to a couple other people, so I decided to buy this so that I could move around, and it cut out on me, so not happy about that. At any rate, sorry. I apologize. I was saying hey to folks. Do we know who the last person was? Did we know who the last person was I was saying hey to? I don't know. In my side of things, I got to Tanya and Marissa Dandridge and Beautiful Soul. And then I heard yelling because I didn't get to make it to Laverne Miller. Oh my goodness. Miss 143, I don't know. Did you hear me say hi and happy about the cooler weather? I don't know. Arlene Wade, thank you. I want to say that as well. Tanya. Thank y'all for being YouTube Hoop Group members. Renita Dene, Marissa Dandridge, hello. Beautiful Soul, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Laverne Miller, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. And Andrea Ross, thank you very much for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Simone Warren, PJ Coppage, Eleanor Roosevelt, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for being YouTube Hoop Group members. To those who are Treasure Designs, hello. Jeanette Davis, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Miss 143 says, "Oh, Eve, this is a really good topic. Glad someone is talking about it. Thank you in advance. You're welcome. You're welcome. It is super important to talk about." Shirley Dabney, hello. How are you? 2011 Miss Max, hello. Thank you for being a YouTube group member. Hey, Lupe, how are you? Tampa BBQ Queens, hey, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Shamira Customs, hey, Honey Bun, welcome. Arlene Wade, everybody was trying to tell me the sounds. I'm trying to tell you. It's just crazy. That is crazy. But I'm glad the sound is back on. So we'll get it together. Hello, Norma Lazaro. How are you? Welcome. I'm gonna have to start all over. We can't start all over. Oh my God. Mama Doulas, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I went silent at Diane Day. Where was Diane Day? Let me see. Oh my God. How far back was that? Oh, I see it. Okay, so Miss Ethel Smith, hello. Thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Craftable Things, hey darling, welcome. Thank you for joining me this evening. Patrina Gosha, Arlene Wade, thank you for being here this evening. Dave Rose, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Leila Nelson, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Shonda Smalls Willis, welcome. Thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. And now I'm caught up. PG also, hello, how are you? So thank you for letting me know where I was. I appreciate that. So tonight, we begin embroidery. Thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Christy Spears, hello. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Eleanor Roosevelt, we'll catch up with you later. Had cancer removed and feeling very tired. They said they got it all. Yes,
Yes, remember me in your prayers. Bye for now. Good evening, Miss Eleanor Roosevelt. Have a good night. Get plenty of rest, and please check in with me. Um, I'll say Tuesday. Give yourself a couple of days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and let me know how you are. Beautiful soul, you are teaching us how to keep going even when the unexpected happens. You have to. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. Jennifer, hello from Buffalo Gap. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Um, Miss Social Dale says she got her wine and ready for the baby's booty. You know what? I gotta tell y'all something funny. Miss Social Deb, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop member, by the way. Pamela Bradley White, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Contessa Harris, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. I appreciate it. Renita McKenzie, Lakeisha Monique, love your name. AJ Rich RN at Kingdom Touches. Hello, you did finally catch us. Welcome, Latanya York, Gail McNair, Becky Chisholm, and Kathy Stewart. How are all of y'all doing? Thank you so much for joining us. I ended up getting into watching some lives this weekend from a couple of other crafters. And y'all, when I tell you I had a ball, especially I think that was what, Friday night, I was in there with the best uni, and oh my God, y'all, when I tell you I was cracking all the way up. Wasn't exactly a crafting or embroidery conversation, but it was still hilarious. We had a really good time. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So one of the things that I did ask a question in the Facebook Hoop group. So if you're in the Facebook Hoop group, go ahead and drop it. You know, you can just do a post by yourself. I don't mind. Let me know who some of your favorite YouTubers are and when they go live. And I'll pop in and say hi or try and watch as much as I possibly can, because I do like to, you know, support other crafters as well as, you know, enjoy other content for a change instead of me sitting in front of the camera. So definitely pop that over in the Facebook group so that I can go over and say hi and, you know, touch base, and we can support each other. Hey, Miss Becca, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining me this evening, and thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Always appreciate that. Hey, Andrea, how are you? Welcome. I never got to tell you I got a red line because of you. Ooh, yes. How you like it? How do you like it? Glow Hodges, I got a brother, new niece, a brother skin and cut, Glow from Linwood, California. Welcome, congratulations. Where's our bell? We got to ring the bell, because whenever you get new babies here in this live, we like to celebrate with you and ring the bell. So you get a new brother skin and cut. Congratulations. Woo! Yes, congratulations. Hopefully that wasn't too loud with the different microphone. Pamela Bradley White got a new baby, a Cricut mug press. Oh, I love that mug press. Congratulations. Woo! Yes. Congratulations on your new baby. Contessa says she got her Redline machine, and I got a Hoop Master kit for free. And she's loving it. Girl, we got to ring the bell for that. Woo! Yeah. Congratulations. That's what's up. That is so cool. AJ says, she says, I love it. Talking about her Redline, and I love their customer service. I'm trying to tell you the customer service is bomb.com. All right, bomb.com. Just Crafty Chantel says, I got a scan and cut this week also. Holla! New machine, new machine, new machine. I love it. Dorothy Gaston, hello from STL, Arlene Wade. I know, right? Woo! New machines, new machines. That's what's up. Look at all the purple bells. That is awesome sauce. I absolutely love that. Yes, the Redline is a totally awesome machine. And it does have a learning curve. And oh, no worries on the webinar. I understand. It is a learning curve with it. And so the cool thing is I've been in touch with Redline this week and been talking to them about the upgrades that they've been making to the equipment and the machines that they have new, because they had the Redline Mini on sale this week. I hope some of y'all got to take advantage of that, because the Mini is less than the 15 needle. But in talking to them, I was going to try to have them on the show, and I still will. But I think we cross channels. They may pop into the chat, and if so, just they can give us a holler. Diane Day just got the big Cricut Easy Press, and it's purple, girl. You know we like purple, so we gonna ring that purple bell for your purple Easy Press. Woo! Yes, congratulations. Congratulations on that purple Easy Press. Love it. So one of the things that I did get and we'll go over is I have top 10 tips, okay, from the person. If you need tech support with the Redline, you would talk to Christian for the most part. And I have the top 10 tips from Christian to give you on the Redline. And the cool thing is, it's not just about the Redline. It can apply to any embroidery machine. So I definitely want to go over those. But I want to have a kind of quick, you know, nothing's ever quick with me. I talk too much, as several have told me, but it'll be all right. We need to have a conversation for those of you who are interested in making the embroidery or any of these crafts your business. Okay, Michelle Flowers, I have a couple of videos. Hey, big boy Prince, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. I private ones, no, but I do have some videos that are available for the Redline, and we're looking to make more, of course, because this machine, some people have this machine and some people don't, and there is a difference as far as the interface is concerned. But basic information on the Redline, yes, we definitely have videos for that. And hey, Regina E, welcome. Thank you for joining us from Northern California. So if you're looking to start an embroidery business, I'm actually going to scale this conversation all the way back, because one of the things that I like to do is speak on something relatable, just to even the playing field all the way across and make sure that you understand where I'm coming from. So most people understand the concept of a chef, right? The chef cooks, they cook in the kitchen. But everybody has that grandma or their moms or their auntie that can cook or bake their butts off. Like they make just bomb everything. Granny always makes bomb everything. My grandma, God bless her soul, rest her soul, she kept me chunky as a kid. So, you know, that's how that goes. But you know, just because a person can cook really well, that doesn't mean that they'll be able to operate a business very well, that they would be able to become a real chef on their own kitchen, their own restaurant. And that's a conversation that I had with my daughter. She pops in every so often. It's Tokyo. She'll pop in and she can cook. I don't know what God's blessed her hands and her mind, but this girl can put a meal together, and she's been able to do that from a really young age, and she cooks very well. So she wants to start her own restaurant, or wanted to, and I was like, look, girl, we need to talk about this, because I don't want to dissuade you at all from starting your own business, because I love having my own business. I love making my own hours and things of that magnitude. But even though in her instance it's going to be different from our instance, but if you start a restaurant, you have to be there long hours. Somebody has to be there super early before the chickens, so that you can get the eggs from the chickens and start preparing the meal and doing the prep of the food prior to even getting it into the commercial kitchen and cooking. Okay. And then once you start cooking, you know, people are going to want to eat from a certain time to a certain time. And then who does all the cleaning up? You have to clean up everything after it's over and done with. Make sure everything is stored properly the way it's supposed to be. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's a huge responsibility that you really need to think of before you get into opening a restaurant. Well, likewise, when you're trying to get into embroidery, you want to make sure that you're not, and this isn't to knock the small home business person who is just starting out and working their way up. This is for someone who is really super serious about getting into creating their own enterprise, their own business, and making a career. Like before you go into your boss's, just because you buy the brother PR $6.55, the 6 needle or whatever. You might get a 6 needle, and before you walk into the boss's office, be like, dude, I quit. Before you do that, I'm gonna tell you, take a time out, breathe. It's all right. They done got on your nerves many times before in the past. Let them get on your nerves a little bit longer, and stop and think about these things that we're gonna go over. So, 6 needle is a good machine. Single needle, single flatbed home machines are good machines. They're excellent embroidery machines. Um, all machines, embroidery machines, embroider. So honestly, if you're trying to get into embroidery, you really can't go wrong. No, in my opinion, and this is being like blunt as far as embroidery is concerned, all embroidery machines embroider. So as long as you know what you're doing, you should get good results from any embroidery machine that you get. The difference is what size, how large a field can you embroider, how wide on the hat can you embroider, what materials can you embroider. Like, you can do leather on the multi-needle machines, and you probably can do some leather on the single needle machines, but the single needle machines take more of a beating, so you kind of want to go a little easy on those single needle machines. But these industrial machines, they're made, well, this industrial machine is made to run orders constantly, back to back to back to back to back, without stopping. Whereas that 6 needle embroidery machine is kind of made to embroider a few things here and there, and be cute, and be cute about doing it. So there's a big difference between a chef going into his kitchen and using his home pots and pans to cook a meal for a whole restaurant versus going into a large industrial commercial kitchen and using the large stock pots, and the larger saucepans and stuff, and the big huge commercial mixers to mix up the dough and stuff for the food, instead of the little KitchenAid mixer that he may have at home. So there's a big difference in the tools that you use to play with. So you definitely want to keep that in mind, and reach for those goals. You can be content if your contentment is just, here, I'm just doing this because I just want to. It's fun. I'm not trying to make a ton of money out of it. I just want to do little bit of pocket change in a side hustle type situation. Okay, you're good. You can stay where you are. You can do the single needle. You can do the 4x4. You can do the 5x7. You can even do the 6 needle. But if you're trying to like pound out a 250 piece order hats, you know what I'm saying, like 1,000 patches for the local police station, stuff like that. When you're trying to do large volume orders, you really want to look industrial. All right, you want to look industrial. And industrial comes in many shapes, sizes, and forms. All right, you have a lot of different industrial companies out there that sell embroidery machines. But the basics are pretty much the same. There's usually not a self threader on it. Melco is the only difference. Melco is made in the US, and their equipment is a good mixture of home luxury things along with industrial things. But at the end of the day, if your price point is, you're ready to take that step, ready to do the business, and your price point is kind of like, it's not down here, but it's kind of like right here, and it's not like up here, you know what I'm saying, then I have a solution for you. And even those who are, kind of curious, and I don't know, let's push you on over the edge and show you what you have available over here on the Redline machine. So the Redline is a really nice embroidery machine. Um, my favorite thing with it being industrial, is you can do hats, you can do ear to ear with this machine. Um, it's heavy duty. It will take a beating. It will take a beating. You can stitch 1,200 stitches a minute with this beast. Let me see if I can't zoom out a little bit more on this thing. But you can do 1,200 stitches a minute. It has 15 needles, so it only embroiders. All embroidery machines only embroider with one needle at a time. So you're not embroidering with 3-4 needles at a time. That's not, because I'm to be completely honest, that was the misconception that I had when I first was looking into multi-needle. I was like, okay, well, it's multi-needle, so what does that mean? Does that mean I can embroider, 3, 4 colors at one time? No, it's not that. What it is you can actually embroider and put all your colors up at the top. And then when it's that color's time, you don't have to change colors. The machine changes the colors for you. And then it starts stitching with that particular color. So it still stitches one color at a time. All of the embroidery machines do. And your price point is amazing on this embroidery machine. So let's take a look at some of their, oh, actually, I was going to show you this too before we went to their website. So just to give you a good idea, this is my crafting station. It's mobile, so I can roll it around. But I want to show you, these are my hooks, and I got stuff behind it, so hopefully that won't fall. And I have threads on the other side. But this is my largest embroidery hoop right here for the Redline embroidery machine. This is my largest hoop for the 6-needle embroidery machine right here. So this is like almost like a 12 by 8, whereas this monstrosity is like a 21 by 19 or something crazy. I forget what it is. It's on their website. We'll have to look it up. But this is your largest size hoop as far as basic hoops are concerned. They also have a patch hoop, which is much, bigger. It's more of a square. But that's over here somewhere. I have it attached to the back of the embroidery machine frame, so I'd have to jump through hoops to take that out. This is the largest repositional hoop for the 4x4 embroidery machine, but this is the 4x4 embroidery machine hoop right here. So you can see the differences in what you have available to use space-wise for embroidery. So again, this is the 4x4. This is the largest for the 6-needle embroidery machine, and this is the one for the Redline. So you can go much, much bigger. And here, I think, yeah, this is the 5x7 hoop, and I want to leave that hoop because I need to do something. But this is the 5x7 embroidery hoop right here in comparison to the 12 by 8 roughly, and then the largest embroidery frame for the multi-needle embroidery machine. So it comes with all of these hoops. Every hoop that you see is green in my hoop area. All of these hoops come with that machine. And that's the other really cool thing about the industrial machines. You get 2 of every hoop, whereas with the 6-needle embroidery machine and the 10-needle same brand embroidery machine, you don't get double the hoops. You just get 1. But industrial, what they realize is while you have one project hooped and working and running on the embroidery machine, you need to have another hoop to go ahead and hoop. Like if you're doing 100 shirts, you don't need to take that off the machine, take it out of the hoop, then put it on the shirt, hoop the next shirt, and put it on the machine. No, when that one shirt comes off the machine, your next shirt needs to be ready to go, all right? Because that's production. That's what that machine is for. It's for production purposes to get your orders in and get them out ASAP. And you also get 2 hoop caps as well with this machine. So while one hat is hooped and waiting, the other hat is already on the machine being stitched out. So I've knocked out a order for hats in no time flat because I was able to have hats going on and off that machine constantly without stopping, and I absolutely love that. So let's go ahead and pull up the Redline website, and I'm gonna put that right there so that I can put that back up there so that I can see it. Come on, quit tripping. I don't know why stuff is wanting to trip tonight. There we go. All right, I need to see the chat. Okay, so let's go to the Redline. And what I did do was Redline 1501 embroidery machine in the Google search. EJ's daughter, the PE 770, you can hoop larger than the 5x7, but you have to use the repositional hoop in order to do so. And we'll show you that. Hey, the crafty Puerto Rican, good evening, my dear. Thank you for joining us. Just Crafty channel, do you recommend learning to digitize if you have a business? I'm sorry, Just Crafty Chantel, I apologize. If you, that depends. That depends. Matter of fact, let's take a sec before I get into the website. Let's cover that because that's actually a really good question. When you're starting an embroidery business, should you learn to digitize? That depends. And the reason why I say that depends is if you're like me and you have every wonderful intention that there is in the book to learn how to digitize and make money doing embroidery, you can mean well and buy a really good digitizing program. Right now, I use Wilcom Hatch primarily to digitize with. And what I found is there's a learning curve with the program. I do know how to digitize with the program, but I don't digitize at the level I want to be at with learning how to digitize with that program. Saying all of that to say, there are some folks out there who have been digitizing for years and they're really good at digitizing. So what I personally do, instead of me being so concerned, because that takes time, digitizing is not a couple of clicks. I mean, in some instances, and I'm not knocking the folks that utilize automatic digitizing. I prefer to not, because I've seen automatic digitizing stitch out results and it's not always the best. Okay, but if you want to learn to digitize professionally, there are folks already out there who know how to digitize professionally, and you send them the logo, and while they are digitizing your logo, you're knocking out orders, doing other orders, getting other orders ready. But because I tell customers that call and they have a logo, I'll say, I'll get your logo digitized, because I ask them, do you have it digitized? Meaning, is it ready to be embroidered right now, or do you need me to have it converted to embroidery stitches? And they'll either say, yes, I have it, or no, they don't. Most do not. And then I'll say, okay, well, it takes 2 days. My digitizer charges $25 per design. I'm making a little smidge of a profit off of that, but we'll get to that later. And as soon as I receive your design back, I'll send it to you for you to look at it. If you send them the JPEG of it, see if you like it. If you like it, then we'll move forward. And then my turnaround time, 7 to 10 business days, whatever, beyond that. So I let them know ahead of time. I let them know that I'm charging them for the digitizing services ahead of time. Most people are A-okay with that. Most people. I have, honestly, everybody was A-okay with that. I have yet to have a customer say, no, I don't want it done in 2 days. I need it done now. I mean, you can eat, and there are digitizers that will do rush orders, but they have to pay extra. So I'll let them know, well, I can get it done in a day, but you have to pay extra. But there's going to be a wait, because this is the thing. And this is what I've learned, if they're in such a huge rush like that, where they have to get it done like right now, then they're going to put that pressure on you when you're trying to digitize. And that's not the type of pressure you need to have in getting a design or logo digitized that quickly. I mean, to have it digitized really good, it takes time. It takes time, because if you do auto digitizing, there may be too many stitches in one place, yada yada, and then you stitch it out and it looks horrible. They're upset, you're upset because they needed it, they don't put you under pressure. Y'all, that's not the type of environment I flourish in. So I wouldn't want that for you. If you want to learn to digitize and you have the patience, you're okay with doing that, then yeah, learn digitizing. It'll save you, honestly, in most instances. If you're looking at left chest logos or even hat logos, you're looking at maybe $20 from a professional digitizer that digitizes for embroidery companies. You're looking at about $20 a design. You know what I'm saying? So the place where you really say, and if you're passing that charge on to the customers, you're not losing money, they are. Okay, well, they're not losing money because they're paying for a service, so you don't even have to pay for it out of pocket. But where you may lose money, which is why I chose to learn initially, was I had my own embroidery design ideas that I wanted to do and wanted to have done, and at the time I couldn't afford to pay a digitizer to do it for me. So that's when I was like, well, bro, I just might as well learn how to do digitizing and I can do it myself and save myself some money. That's pretty much where you save money in learning how to digitize. You know what I'm saying? So utilize the resources that you have available to you. Um, because if you do want to learn how to digitize as a business owner to be able to offer that service, that's not just more time that you would have to dedicate to digitizing, which takes away from production if you don't have anybody else to do production for you. But that's also another software program that you have to invest in. All right. That's also multiple changes that the customer may request because the digitizing didn't turn out quite the way they wanted it to. So that's even more time on top of what you were investing in to begin with. So it's a um, personal question. I mean, personal decision. It really is. You have to figure out what's best for your business. I've seen digitizers who don't even do embroidery, but they digitize very well. So, you know, it's just a matter of finding someone to do what you need and save yourself that time and energy, honestly. Um, AJ says I have the new computer interface, the 10-inch, and there aren't many videos to help figure it out. We're working on that. Again, I was talking to them about that, and we're seeing about trying to get that where we can go ahead and do some more instructions on that. Good evening, Simone Langley, and thank you so very much for being a YouTube group member. I really appreciate that. Sheila Cushenberry, thank you for letting me know you made it safely. I sent you an instant message on Facebook, so make sure you check that for me, please. Yvonne Hudson, hello. Shonda Coleman, hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Scrapping Diva Felisa, welcome. She says, I just purchased me a 15 needle BAI machine and it should be here this week. Please tune in with us next Sunday so we can ring the bell for your new baby after you get it unpacked and love on it a little bit. Let us know. We're gonna ring the bell for you, girl. Red Roses, hello, how are you? Let's see. I thought I saw another question. The Diamond Boutique, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Scrapping Diva Felisa, where can we purchase that mobile crafting station? Ooh, if you have a, what is it called? Store fixture type establishment in wherever you are. Atlanta probably has zillions of them. Charlotte has quite a few, but a store that sells store fixtures. This is a mobile. God, what is the name of this thing? It's a mobile end cap in something. I forget the name of it. I apologize, but let them know it's normally. I'm gonna tell you where you can see it. Take a picture of it and find a store fixture company and ask them how they can get you one. If you go into most of these auto parts stores, like O'Reilly's or Advanced Auto Parts or AutoZone, stuff like that, they normally have these sitting out in the middle up front with car part or car chargers and stupid stuff like that all over. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say stupid stuff. Stuff like that all over. That's pretty much the same setup. So you could find one of those there. And sometimes they sell them. It may be a little pricey, but sometimes they sell them there. So I love a good store fixture store. I just really need to stay out of there, but I love a store fixture store because they have store fixtures. A retail establishment has some of the coolest and trendiest storage options out there, and so I like to go and see what all they got out there, like the acrylic display cases and all that cool stuff, and usually wind up broke by the time I leave. Let's see. Okay, so that was that question. EJ's daughter. Oh, well, actually, I can show you EJ's daughter. You asked about the reposition, and I think I answered it, but um, I'll show you with this. Actually, let's do it this way because I wish it was explained a little bit better on. I think the 5x7 one is explained pretty good on Amazon, but the 4x4 is not. The 4x4 repositional hoop, which that's what this is. It's the 4x4 repositional hoop. They don't have this listed properly. They have it listed as 5x7, which literally it is 5x7, but you cannot embroider 5x7 because your embroidery machine can only do 4 inches one way. So the same with your 5x7 embroidery machine. The largest you'll be able to do without moving the whole hoop is, or unhooping your project and moving it rather, is 5 inches at a time. Okay, so this is 4x4. This is the 4x, I think I want to say you can do 6.5 with this, whereas the 5x7 is something like 5x12 ish. Is the repositional size, and what it does is it takes your 5x7, embroiders your 5x7 section, then you take the hoop. You don't take your project out of the hoop. You take the hoop off the machine, move it over, put it back on, and it will embroider the next section. And then you take it off, move it over again, and it'll embroider the next section. That's how the repositional hoop works. So that is available for your embroidery machine. You just have to look up. You can either click the link below for our Amazon storefront. That should be in the description. I made sure it was there. And we do have both the 5x7 and the 4x4 sets available in our store. But aside from that, you can just go onto Amazon and type in repositional hoop and find the one that's for the 5x7 embroidery machine. Let's see, go back. Hey, Nakomi Butler, Janet McKinney, hello. Just Crafty Channel said you had it digitized. Yeah, it's the easiest, honestly. It really is. It saves you so much time. But if you like doing that kind of, you may love digitizing. You may find it therapeutic and relaxing, because it can be. Then you might want to learn how to digitize and use it to your advantage and do digitizing in your downtime. Hey, Jane Kirk, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us and for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. I appreciate it. Sylvia says, hello, I'm from Virginia. Leela invited me to join tonight. Well, tell Leela I said thank you. Well, I'm telling Leela, thank you, Leela. We appreciate that. Let's see. I saw something else. I thought, hello, Najoran Booker. Hopefully I said that correctly and didn't butcher it. I apologize if I did. Digitizing. AJ, you might be looking. Oh, digitizing programs are very pricey. Yes, very. A very good one that you can build stitch by stitch. Yes, it is very pricey. So Miss Bickham, I didn't know you weren't feeling well. Keep in touch with me. So yes, those programs are very pricey, but they're worth every penny in order to make sure that it's done properly. Now there are auto digitizing programs that are a little less, where you can click and it'll auto digitize for you. Like So Art is one of those at $75. But I personally like to have a whole lot more control over my outcome. So yeah. Shonda Coleman says, I caved in about the Cricut Maker 3 last weekend. That's not caving. You invested in yourself. It's okay. No worries about it. But congratulations. Do you have it? Did it come already? Let me know. Maureen, hello everyone. I check out your videos. I've not done anything to show, just practice. My problem is getting the use of an application to do church symbols. My machine is PE535. Getting the use of an application to do church symbols. So if you need a program to help you load the designs that you want on your machine, I usually suggest So What Pro. The link to that is in the description below. You can do the demo version and see how you like it. If you're wanting to design your own, that's the conversation we were just having about a digitizing program. in a digitizing program if you don't have because the welcome hatch is right at $1,000, but the soul art is 75, and like I said, it's an auto digitizer. So the auto digitizer is something to play around with to try and get the results that you want. There's also the same link that takes you to So What Pro will also, I have So Art as well available on our website, and you can download the demo version and give it a shot and see how you like it. All right, instead of investing and then you end up not liking it, or you want something different. Thank you, Maureen. I appreciate that. Never could figure out the repositional hoop. Kathy, the repositional hoop is cool. We have a video. I need to do an updated video. I really do. Hey, Nancy Fouts from Iowa. How are you? Hello, Dab Prince 09. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. T. Johnson. Are repositional hoops only available for the brother machines? Because I have a Janome 9850. That's a really good question. I'm not sure, unfortunately. But you can type in repositional hoops in Amazon and see if it pops up for another brand other than Janome. I mean, other than Brother. Because yes, it is brand specific, the hoops are. Do you have problems with bobbin thread showing running machine at a high speed? Yes and no. If the tension, so that actually brings me to the 10 tips. But bobbin thread showing, a lot of that has to do with tension, because even if you're running at high speed, your tension should be able to match the speed that you're stitching. So yes, slowing it down will help ensure that you have less issues, because of course anything running high speed is going to wear out faster, which is going to also bring us to those top 10 tips. So but we'll talk about that. That's why for me, Red Roses, I like to run usually at about 900 stitches a minute to 1,000, not too much higher than that. Only because I'm afraid of wearing out the machine too fast. Personally, that's just me. Even though it's built for that, these industrial machines are built to let industries run their machines and embroider rows of them at high speed to get them done faster. So, you know, a lot of that depends. Oh, tell Bailey I hate I missed her. That really sucks. Oh, I hate that, but I'd rather y'all be safe, and I'd rather the rest of the family be safe. Beautiful soul, you ask, what machines do you have? I currently have a Brother SE425. I used to have an SE400 and a P500, but I sold those to a couple of people who were trying to get started in embroidery. I also have the PE770 that was donated to us, so that we could teach on the 5x7. And then we have the Redline 1501, which is a 15 needle embroidery machine. And then beside that, I have the PR655 6 needle embroidery machine, the PR655 Entrepreneur embroidery machine. So that's the 4 embroidery machines that we currently have here in the studio. We also run DTF heat press for vinyl and rhinestones and bling, Cricut, Silhouette, Brother Scan and Cut, two Cricuts, one Cricut Joy, and the Brother Scan and Cut and the Silhouette 4, which I need to do better using those. Hey Sylvia Eves. Diane Day says my Janome 9000 has a repositional hoop. Sweet. I am glad to hear that. Thank you for letting us know. Andrea says, Eve, I typed a store in chat, but I don't see it. Whoever's looking for storage and displays, storesupply.com is awesome. Thank you for breaking that up, because the settings in YouTube won't let other people, unless you're a moderator, type in websites. So that's why. There is a question by a viewer regarding the noise level, as they are interested in a multi-needle but live in an apartment. Ouch. Okay, so there is vibration noise that does come with using these embroidery machines. So what I am going to say is, do you, no, I don't teach digitizing, Kim, I'm sorry. Do the person who's in the apartment, this is a way to figure it out. So if you live in an apartment and you can hear your neighbors come and go, and they're not like overly loud people, you know, like just blatant disrespectful type loud. I'm talking about just like your general everyday person coming home. You can kind of hear conversation, you know, not clearly, but you can hear like through the wall muffled conversation. If they get to yelling and fussing at each other, you can kind of hear that pretty clearly. You will hear this machine through the walls. So you don't want to do that. But if it's like you can't hear your neighbors very well, even when they get to arguing and fussing, they have to like really be knocked down, dragging out for you to be able to hear what's going on over there. Then I think you're safe. And the reason why I say that is because even though I'm on concrete though in here, but I have 2 bedrooms back here, and even though that bedroom has a bathroom in between here and the room, but you know, the noise level isn't super loud outside of this room. And it's not unbearable in this room because I have a noise sensitivity. So for me, it doesn't bother me. I love to actually sit and listen to the embroidery machines run. But it's not overbearing. I still would be cautious in an apartment. Number one, getting that thing up the stairs, I don't know. So I hope they're on the ground level first and foremost. If they're any higher, I wouldn't get it because that thing is heavy to get up the stairs. And then second of all, in an apartment, you know, you just kind of want to be careful. I would not necessarily run that in an apartment. Either one of those machines, I wouldn't. Like a little home embroidery machine won't be bad at all. It sounds just like a regular sewing machine. But these can have some audible vibrations and stuff from them. I put my Maker 3 to work already. I'm trying to sell a few items to pay it off faster. I know that's right. So y'all know it's difficult for me to remember. My memory is tragic, but you said you just got the Cricut Maker 3, so let me know if I need to ring the bell because I want to ring the bell. We need an excuse to ring the bell. How is the Redline? I have been considering that one. I absolutely love the Redline. Okay, so let's go to the website now since we are on that topic. So here is the Redline website, and here are the 2 different machines that they currently offer. This is the 15 needle right here on the right, and the 12 needle is on the left. All right, so both of them are embroidery machines, industrial type embroidery machines, so they should be able to handle all and anything that you can throw at it. With this 12 needle, your maximum embroidery area is 14 by 7.8. And then with the 15 needle, it says 16.9 by 13. That hoop is bigger than that. So you can get a smidge bigger than that. You just have to be careful in the way I've been able to embroider. So as you see, the price for the 12 needle starts at $65 roughly, and the 15 needle is $79.95. So you have a couple of options available for you. Again, for me, what is the value is where I like to challenge people in regards to determining what equipment you end up buying. All right. Now, of course, I would want you to get the most for your money. I would want you to get the most bang for your buck. So that being the case, Redline is an industrial machine, and as I showed you, you're talking about $8,000 for 15 needles, as opposed to my other embroidery machine. It was 6 needles, and it was $8,000 for 6 needles. So you get one set of hoops with the 6 needle, whereas here you have your Redline embroidery machine that comes with everything you see in this picture, plus your hoops. Let's see, where is the list of hoops? Here it is. So you get not just the machine, you get your stand, you get your hoops, You get 2 of each one of these hoops. You get a table to go on. Table on the 6 needle or the 10 needle, you can forget it. You got to pay out the butt for those. Here is the patch frame that I was referring to earlier. You also get your cap driver that allows you to do hats, and a hat hooping station, which is basically what this cap gauge is, and 2 cap frames so that you can have a beautiful soul. I was so confused when I heard my name called. I've been around for a while. I already knew what machines you have. No, it wasn't beautiful soul. I apologize if that's who I said. Who asked? I just saw it. Oh, there is another beautiful soul in here. She's not a member. They're not a member. There's another beautiful soul in here. Because you're a hoop group member. That person doesn't have a picture by their name. So I apologize for that confusion. But yeah, there's another beautiful soul that asked. Again, because Beautiful Soul says, what do you think of Melco and the ActiFeed system? Wow, you have a lot of machines. I currently have 2 brothers, NQ1600 and SE1900. But I'm considering the Melco as my next big purchase. I will say the Melco is a good machine. It's made here in the U.S. The thing with the Melco, though, is you have to, unless it's changed recently, you have to have a computer that comes with that machine, and you can't use any other computer with it. Everything, all of the settings on that machine is determined by the computer, whereas on this machine, we do the settings ourselves manually on the machine. So even if the computer interface isn't working properly, the machine will still continue to operate. But Melco is a good machine. I'm not going to, one thing I'm not going to do is bash another machine because I favor a different one. Now, unless I know that the machine is not a good quality, and I have a couple of a couple of companies in mind as I say that, but you would need to, do your research and check into that. But Melco is a pretty good company. I live at the ground level, Ozzy says. Okay, so if you're at the ground level, you can get it in. Lakeisha, Monique, I'm on the 5th floor apartment building, and I had a 12 needle machine. I had no problems. So it can be done. I mean, now the Redline getting it up 12 flights. I'm sorry, 5 flights. I feel sorry for whoever got to carry that joke up in 5 flights, because that's a heavy machine. But you can do that. And it can be done. But again, a lot of it depends on how well the apartment complex is built. If you can hear folks beside you and near you and around you, then it may not be a good decision. Like, for instance, I know one of the first apartments my husband used to live in before he and I got married, you could hear everything. Like, you could hit a person turning over in bed next door. I mean, that's just how loud, how thin the walls were. You don't want to have a machine and nothing like that. That was just a tragic type of apartment to live in with children. So, it depends on how well your apartments are built. Hey, Gail Moore, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us and for being a YouTube group member. So, to we begin embroidery. Miss Shirley says, I ran my brother PR 655, so her brother 10 needle on a 3rd floor apartment. No complaints from neighbors ever. It couldn't be heard outside of the apartment. So that's good. The Redline is not louder than the brother. They're all the same. What is a cheap machine to try embroidery? I don't think I will use it often. A lot of that depends, Lisa Cage, on what you intend to do as far as, on a regular basis with embroidery. Do you intend to make money off of it? Do you intend to do big blankets, for instance? So if you're going to do larger things, I would say shoot for the 5x7 embroidery machine so that you have a larger embroidery area. The home single needle machine, that's what I would suggest going for budget wise. But if you don't have the budget, like, it's right at about $1,000. It's a little less now. The prices have started to come back down. But if you only have like $450 to play with to buy a machine just to try it, then you can get the 4x4 embroidery machine. Usually they sell it at Walmart, and experiment with that one. So you could do that. And just because you're not using it often, it makes it perfect. Sylvia says, I got the Cricut Maker yesterday. Congratulations, Sylvia, on your Cricut Maker. Shonda Coleman, yeah, she said, ring the bell for her and her Cricut Maker 3. Yeah. Got it. That's what's up. Yes, hollered. That's what's up. Beautiful soul, thank you. The other beautiful soul, thank you for joining us and being new. We appreciate you joining us. Lakeisha, I have an elevator. Okay, got you. Got you. See, you got the fact that you even have an elevator to your apartment complex lets me know it should be well built enough. You should be okay. Datu says Melco is a solid machine. It is. It is a good machine. What kind of warranty and support does Redline offer? I saw that. It is right here. So they have, I just saw right here. So they will have to go into detail on what the 1 to 5 year limited warranty is. Okay, so they do have a warranty, a limited warranty, but their training is there. They walk you through everything. Redline is awesome sauce. And it's like a close-knit little company. So it's not like you can you call one day and you get one person, call the next day, get somebody different, call the next day, get no. You call, you talk to Christian, and Christian helps you and gets you where you need to be. They even do video conferencing to help you make sure you're where you need to be in learning your embroidery machine or getting it up and running properly. Because this is the thing that I do appreciate about the industrial embroidery machine companies for the most part. Those guys understand that this is an industrial machine and you need it up and running like lickety split. I don't need no downtime, right? So this embroidery machine even comes with extra parts so that if need be, I can fix the machine and they'll walk me through fixing the machine on simple repairs, not major ones, of course, but simple repairs. They'll help me do that so that I can get back up and running faster. Whereas the other embroidery machine, you're not encouraged at all to work on that machine. You have to take that in to get it repaired. If they're already backed up with equipment, oh well, you just gotta wait. And that sucks when you have an order sitting on the table that needs to be out yesterday and your machine is down and now you're having to wait a whole nother week. Your customer is not going to like that too much usually. So that's the other plus that I do appreciate about the industrial machine. Miss Sophia, I have not tried well, actually I'm lying. So a really, really, really good friend of mine just purchased Ricoma. Now keep in mind, these machines are all pretty much made in the same area of the world. So there's very few differences other than looks and interface between them. I will say, for instance, one of the biggest disappointments that I had was I had a hat order that needed to be done. And I can't remember what was going on at the time. I couldn't do the hat order on the Redline. So I took it to her to do it on her Ricoma machine. And the standard size, let's see if I can find it. The standard size for the hat is 60 millimeters. And y'all know how I am about math. So let me do some converting here online. 60 millimeters to inches is 2.36. So just over 2.25 tall embroidery on a hat. Okay. Now that's on Redline. That's on Tajima. That's on, all those 2.36. And then on Redline, you can go ear to ear. On her Ricoma, you can go ear to ear. But my design that fit on my machine at 2.36 did not fit on hers. She had to resize my design. And I didn't particularly care for that because I had already done some of the hats. And now this set of hats, the logo is smaller. And I was like, why is the size not the same? I don't understand. Why is the size? All the machines do 60 millimeters, what gives. And so that kind of had me heated, especially knowing how much she paid for that machine. And I told her, I was like, bruh, you know how much you paid for that, and I'm telling you how much I paid for this. And so that was interesting, but she wanted a specific financing option, so that's why she went with Ricoma instead of Redline. But now you're paying twice the price of that machine, basically, especially once you factor in the interest. I was like, I don't understand. But anyway, since I bought my machine, yes, they will still help you, Lila. They will still help you. Warranty, maybe not, but they'll help you get it. You know, if you need parts, they'll help you. They'll help you get things installed. They're still very kind and loving there. They'll still help you. And if not, let me know and we'll talk, and I'll see if we can help make sure you're taken care of one way or the other. We're gonna get you taken care of. So thank you for your question, beautiful soul. Bella Ann, no worries. Welcome. We always want you here, regardless of when you come. Melody Wilcox, thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member and for your suggestion. She says Joann's has the 4x4 on sale for $399.99. Now, if it's at Joann's, then that means it's Husqvarna, correct? Not necessarily my favorite brand of embroidery machines. Well, the smaller machines are pretty good. The smaller ones are pretty decent, but I don't particularly care for their service plans. Miss Sophia says, hello, have you tried any of the... Oh, that was the question I answered earlier. Shirley Logan, good evening. Welcome. Datu says, it just depends on your workload and workflow. The computer interface makes it easy to learn and manage embroidery. We use the Baradans for our business based on our client demands. Yeah, Baradans are some tough buddies right there. Hey, Mina Rowe from Canada, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. Does it take special needles for that 15 needle? All industrial machines take a different needle. The only difference in the needles are the fact that they have a rounded shank, okay? And what that pretty much means is with your embroidery needle, where you go to put your embroidery needle in, you'll have a flat side that tells you which side goes into the embroidery machine. Whereas with ours, no matter, which side it is, it's going to be rounded. So ours, it's a little more difficult to get it in and make sure that the eye of the needle is straight. But that's the industrial world. Whereas the 6 needle and the 10 needle, they take the home sewing machine needles, which have the flat shank on it. So that's one difference to show where that machine is not an industrial machine. Do you like embroidery or sublimation better? Ooh, that's a loaded question, Lisa. Okay, so for that question, me personally, that's a loaded question for me personally, because I love embroidery. Absolutely love embroidery. Embroidery is the first thing I got into. Embroidery is what all customers ask for. So as far as servicing my customers, giving value for my work, the embroidery machine wins that hands down. But what just floors me with sublimation is the sheer volume of the different things that I can decorate for customize for customers, even with personalized, like actual images, and it turned out absolutely beautiful. So that is exciting to me with sublimation, that I'm able to do necklaces, jewelry, I'm able to do car license plates, I'm able to do luggage tags, I'm able to do keychains, I'm able to do tumblers, I'm able to do shirts, I'm able to do hats. I mean, it's just puzzles. It's ridiculous how many things you can sublimate on. It's ridiculous. It blows me away every time I think about it. So that part of sublimation is super exciting for me. But embroidery is my love. That's my foundation. It's where I come from. That's how I started. And that when a customer asks for something to be customized and they say embroidery, they automatically know that the price is going to be, it's not going to be cheap, because embroidery is not a cheap process. Embroidery is luxury to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? So all of the luxury brands of things have an embroidered version of their line, so embroidery for that is my first love. Do you maintain? Yes, I maintain the Redline myself. That is correct. Any thoughts on a BAI? Sorry, I lost it. They're all made in China. They are. I have not heard of too many folks getting the BAI and what their feedback is. I do hear folks having it here and there, and I haven't heard of any complaints, so that's a good thing. But all of them are all made by the same folks for the most part. So you're going to, this is the illustration that I used before. The illustration that I used once before is your embroidery machines are pretty much like cars. All right, so you got Toyotas, you got Hondas, you got Lexus, you got Acura, and they're all cars. They all drive, and in that instance, they all come from Japan. All right. Well, you can get a lemon in any one of those four cars because it happens. There's parts that come from other places to put that car together to make that car. All right. So just because the embroidery machine might have been made at their warehouse in China, that's where it was assembled or whatever, but they got the motor from over here. They got the needles and arms from over there. You see what I'm saying? They're all different parts that make it up. So somebody might have got a bad motor off of the motor assembly, sent it to go put it in that embroidery machine. They don't know. They run it and it works great there in the warehouse, because that, like, Redline tests every machine before they send it out. Every machine goes through a test. They don't just grab a machine off the shelf and just send it to you. No, every machine is hand tested right there in the location before they send it. So if a motor goes out, it's not because they didn't check it, or it's, you see what I'm saying? Every vehicle, every situation is going to be a chance that you're taking. The thing is, how do they stand behind their product? How do they respond when you call and they're like, "Oh, you did that, you broke it. We ain't helping you do that." I mean, when you get that kind of a feedback, that's a problem. So you need to check to see what feedback you get from the company that you purchase it with. Gail McNair says, "Does it come with magnetic hoops?" No, that's not standard with any of the embroidery machines, unless they're running a special. But the magnetic hoops generally come from Mighty Hoops, or DIME, I think, has magnetic hoops, but that's not the name of the company I was trying to think of. Can't think of the name of the other company, but no, it doesn't come with the magnetic hoops, but you can order them and they'll send them with it. He said 2.8 on Baradan. JD's Corner. Hey JD, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Marge Campbell says it's in the parameter settings, showing the size. I assume she was not comfortable doing hats. She was comfortable doing hats. She, as a matter of fact, Datu, the majority of her business is hats, which is crazy to me. So this hat shortage that's going on right now on the Richardson caps is killing her business right now, because that's all these. I mean, she does hundreds of hats at a time. So she does hats, but for whatever reason, that Racoma, I forget which one she has, the hat size isn't the same, the embroidery area, and I was like not feeling that. You're welcome, Miss Leela. Melody Wilcox says, "Brother, yes." Shirley Logan says, "I have Sophia 2. A Sophia 2, is that the one from, no, because I thought their machines was like diamond and something, a diamond and ruby and something like that. Hey, Latasha Jackson, how are you? Welcome. Shirley Logan, thank you for being a newbie. Welcome. The best uni. Hey, love, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. I saw Gotta Run somebody who said that. Kathy Stewart. Have a good night, Kathy Stewart. Eartha Lewis says the machine that Joanne's has on sale is the Brother 535 with three free shipping. Oh, sweet. That's good to know. Thank you for letting us know, Eartha Lewis, because I know they sell in the store the Husqvarna. Pretty sure that's Husqvarna and something else brand in Joanne. So if they sell it on their website, I didn't know that. Hey Tampa BBQ Queen. She says, hey ladies and gents, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy having you here. Stampin' to Create says the 535 was my first machine. Great little starter machine, she says, but grew out of it quickly due to size restraints. And you will, but you'll also make money with that machine to start out with. So that's why I was saying, when you are trying to get into business doing the embroidery, the honest, true, upfront, low down dirty, no punches held back is you really want to go industrial when you're trying to get a business up and running and multiple machines going at one time. You really want to go industrial. And I'm not saying that to put you under pressure to say, oh, you're not no real business because you don't have an industrial machine. I am not in any way, shape, form, or fashion saying that. What I am saying to you is keep those goals in mind, that that's something that you definitely want to reach for so that you can get your production levels up and going and help make business easier on you. Because it will. You want to have an easier transition in your business with going from, a smaller home-based business to more of a actual commercial and cranking out orders in a quicker fashion, more productivity, higher productivity, in other words. So that's why it's it's something that needs to be said. And if you look at several of the other YouTubers who actually do Etsy orders, for instance, with embroidery, you'll see they have industrial machines running in the background. Yeah, they may have a couple of the smaller machines maybe on the tables running one-off orders, or they may have the 6 needle or the 10 needle embroidery machine back there. But at the end of the day, those industrial machines is where it's at. And that's where you will make the most money for your profit. But Redline has the best value for your dollar. They have the best value for your dollar. Do your research. You hear me saying that, but do your own research. Look at each of the other embroidery machine industrial companies out there. Get their pricing. Find out what accessories it comes with. And then reach back out to me and let me know what you found. All right, let me know what you found. What is the warranty? What are the accessories? What is your embroidery size? What the largest hoop size that is? What's the price? What financing do they offer? All of these things should factor in on what your last bottom dollar decision is going to be. All right, there's some good ones out there. Happy, which is the Tex-Mex brand, the Happy embroidery machine is an excellent embroidery machine. Tajimas are like up there. Tajima embroidery machines. You got multi-head embroidery machines. You got SWF embroidery machines. The Melco has the Amaya, meaning you can attach multiple units to make like a multi-head embroidery machine. There are many of them out there, but check your pricing and what you're getting value for your equipment and make your decision there. Hey Tasha Broadhurst, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Latasha says, I finally purchased and received my 15 needle embroidery machine, the BAI 1501. Congratulations! Woo! Yes! Congratulations! Forever Blessed has experienced here. Forever Blessed says, yes, Chris and Valerie are very patient with you whenever you call with questions. That's at Redline. Chris was really patient with me in training me on my machine. I'm sure I made him tired. I'm sure we all would make him tired if you called and had to ask about, making sure that you understand everything, because it's not an easy thing to learn industrial equipment, but it's not super difficult either. Now, before we get too far into past 10 o'clock, I want to go over the 10 um, tips on embroidery and the Redline embroidery machine. Let's see. Hey, Tasha brought hers. Scrapping Diva Felisa. I think the most part is user error until you really put in the work and learn your machine. Put a pin in that comment, okay? Luann June, welcome. Thank you for joining us. She says customer service is so important. Yes, it is. Do you pay extra for a warranty? No, you do not. It comes with it. Emily in Alabama says the Magna Hoop. Oh, Magna Hoop is the other brand. I know there's definitely two major brands out there. Datu says scrapping Diva's user error is a small issue. Not necessarily. Many machines are not meant for the American market. That's definitely true. I do 99% hats in my business also. So I don't do very many hats. I don't get those customers, which I think is a good thing because I'm not a huge fan of hats, but I do them. Bella Ann, I just got a Brother Futura XL 400. I bought it secondhand. Do you have any advice? Take your time and listen to the 10 tips that I'm about to show you. And congratulations on your Brother Futura XL 400. Yes! Congratulations. That's what's up, girl. You're going to enjoy that machine. Make sure you post plenty of pictures in the Facebook group, the Hoop group. Join us over there so that you can show off your project, girl. I was making face masks with my machine. Shirley says, yeah, that was a good making money opportunity at one point in time. And to a certain extent still is, but nowhere near like it was the first last year, y'all. It was crazy. Hello, I'm a newbie to your channel. I have a Ricoma EM1010. Well, congratulations, Pamela Jones, and thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here and sharing your equipment with us, because one thing's for certain, it's good to know what everyone has. Mina Rose says, what do you think about ZSK from Germany? That's another good machine as well. Luna 888, the ZSK is a good machine for the price of $17,000. How many needles is that, Luna 888, for 17,170,000.00 How many needles is that? Celia Vang, it's been so helpful being able to have multiple items hooped and ready to go with the extra hoops I got with your Redline promo. Yes, Baby's Booty promo at Redline, you do get an extra set of hoops. Does it come with software, Windows compatible? It comes with, in the pack, it depends on which package you choose. So if you choose the package with software, it comes with Hatch. But if you don't choose the package with software, Sew It Pro is a good software to have as well. And Sew It Pro is $65. So Hatch is a pricey program. So it just depends on which package you choose. You're welcome, Latasha Jackson. Good night, Shirley Logan. Bad Brad. I called Redline last week, and she was the first person to say straight up they're all made in China. I talked to her 30 minutes. She was not pushy at all. That's why I'm asking all the questions. No worries. Please do. You're supposed to. This is an investment. You're supposed to ask questions. I would be concerned if you didn't ask questions. Honestly, you need to ask questions. Luna 888 is 12 needles for $17,000. It's the ASIC Akune. And there you have it, ZSK. You can have that. Mina Rowe got the 18 needle for $22,000. So when you're talking about these, she said 12 needles, the basic machine. Yeah, you said basic, 12 needles, but yes, no worries. So when you're looking at getting into these multi-needle embroidery machines and these industrial machines, I called and talked to Christian, and as several pointed out, Christian helps work on the Redline embroidery machines, walk you through all the technical specs and stuff like that with the Redline embroidery machines. And as I mentioned as well, if you're interested, give them a call. Let them know that the Baby's Booty sent you. And what they'll do is throw in an extra set of hoops for you, of a different set of sizes. So we get extra hoops with our machines. And, they love hearing that we're pushing people, because like I told them, I love my machine. So I'm going to tell people about it. And I think it's an excellent investment. Luna, yes, Germany machine. You mentioned that earlier too, so that's right. Germany is well known for their threads and their equipment. So I can't see where that would be a bad investment. So Christian has 10 tips. The first tip he wanted to give is, you, with industrial machines, the Redline, you cannot push, play, and go. You can't simply upload a design to your machine and expect the machine to stitch perfectly. When it comes to embroidery, there is so much that goes into making a project successful, like, for instance, the proper stabilizer, proper needles, hooping, like needles being installed properly, hooping it properly, and the design itself. There are some badly digitized designs, which is why I was saying I'm not a fan of auto digitizing, because a lot of times auto digitized designs just don't stitch out properly, and people get upset with the machine, and it's not the machine's fault. Okay, you can be very successful with the Redline, but you have to know what you're doing in embroidery in order to succeed. All right. Number 2, not every design is created equally. You cannot assume a design will work the same on a hat, on a cap, as it does on flat embroidery. The structures are different, the fabrics are different, and the situations will be different. So you have to adjust designs accordingly to fit whatever you will stitch. Knit shirts will need more underlay or pull compensation as opposed to leather or vinyl. Know that the machine only reads commands, and if it's not properly digitized, you are setting your machine up for failure. Plan ahead and study your designs. Now, in that instance, digitizing is very helpful in that instance. So if you learn digitizing for any reason whatsoever, I would say so that you would know a good design structure over a bad design structure, and you can make your own adjustments from that point forward. And that's one positive to me, knowing how to embroider. If I do get a design in from a designer that it doesn't sit well with me, or it doesn't stitch quite the way I want to, I know where and how to make the changes. Whereas if I didn't know digitizing, I wouldn't know how to fix that. Or for instance, if I get a design digitized left chest logo, yes, it can stitch on a hat, but a hat needs to be stitched from the center out. Okay, so when you get an embroidery design digitized and you know it's going on a hat, you want to have them digitize it for a hat. There's a specific way to digitize for a hat as opposed to digitizing for a shirt. All right. As I mentioned, yes, you can get away with it in some instances and not have to worry about that. But professionally, you want it done properly, okay? To keep it from, I see so many people posting images of a hat and the registration is off. Like there's gaps between the outline of the image and the image itself. And it's like, bro, how was it designed? Was it designed for a hat or was it designed for a shirt? You have to know the difference. You have to know the difference. So yes, this is not every design is created equal. And designs that would go on a t-shirt, just you can put light airy designs, but those super thick heavy duty designs that go on t-shirts, you're wearing your stretchy stuff down. People just, and especially if it's not stabilized, oh my god, don't get me started on that. That's a whole nother video. But keep in mind, designs are not all the same. Okay. Number 3, maintenance is essential to the longevity to your machine. Your machine is an investment, so make sure you take care of it. Oil it often and when you are supposed to. Grease it every 3 months. Clean out your rotary hook from lint, dust, and also wipe down your machines from any dust. You treat your cars better than you're treating your embroidery machines. And it's just because these home machines don't want you oiling it, don't want you doing anything to it. Well, machines need oil to run. So at some point you need to be doing maintenance on your equipment. But that's a different story as well. Read your manuals for whatever machine you have. Read your manuals and please do your maintenance as it is requesting you to do. Number 4. Oh my gosh, number 4. If you don't listen to me on anything else other than maintenance, if you don't listen to me on anything else, please listen to number 4. Please. Number 4. Tension does and will change. Tension does and will change. So this goes back to the question that was asked earlier about the bobbin thread showing on a higher speed. Tension does and will change. The tension of your thread is affected by so many things. It was tested here in a dry heat, so humidity will automatically cause thread to swell. Redlines are sold in El Paso, Texas. They have dry heat. So if you're going to, say, for instance, Seattle, Washington, where there's a lot of humidity, your thread will swell with the humidity. It's barely noticeable to us by the naked human eye, but there is a difference with humidity. So keep in mind, meaning you need to remove some tension if you're in a high humidity environment. Also, depending on the type of thread, you will have to reduce tension. The amount of layers you are stitching, you will have to either reduce or increase tension. Be aware of your tension and use tests to check up on your machine's tension. You have to check your machine. That's why I say practice stitching out what you're going to stitch out first. Then stitch out whatever it is that you're going to stitch out on the actual project. Because if you go to stitch a project and you haven't tested it out, and then all of a sudden you got this bobbin thread showing that you want to panic because you didn't test it first, well, I mean, you kind of set yourself up for that a little bit. You need to test what you're going to do, see how it's going to stitch out, and then go from there. It's definitely important to keep an eye on your tension, because as you run the machine, vibrations of the machine and such is going to cause the tension to change as well over time. So definitely keep an eye on that. Number 5, your hooping will either make or break your design. Hooping is everything to your embroidery machine. If you do not hoop correctly, you will struggle with puckering, bird's nest, and registration. Hooping correctly with the cap is essential, because if you do not reduce the amount of space between your cap and the needle plate, you will break lots of needles. Learn how to hoop well where it is drum tight, or find other methods of hooping such as magnetic hoops or other tools for hooping. If you have issues hooping your hats, you may want to invest in an aftermarket hat hoop, which is the Hoop Tech hat hoop, because it makes hooping hats a little easier. You may want to go that route instead of hooping with the regular hat hoop. So keep that in mind. Number 6 is hilarious, but it is true. Your attitude is going to be reflected in the product you are embroidering. If you are embroidering in a bad mood, you will notice more faults and issues and be less able to fix them, and pressures will be added on. How many times have you gone into the studio and you're tired, or you're rushed? Someone is rushing you to get in an order, or you just not feeling your best that day, and everything seems to go wrong. You're like, oh my gosh, why did I even come in here today? It happens. So if you're in a bad mood, you may want to take a breather, go get a coffee, or as it says here, coming in with a clear head, focus, and positive attitude allows you to get more done in a day. If you run into any issues, even taking a small break allows you to refocus and clear your mind. So definitely keep that in mind. Anything you're working on, whether it's embroidery, DTF, whether it's bling, you want to have a clear, calm setup as much as possible so that things can flow Because imagine having a bad day and then things going wrong will make it worse, right? So, try and have a good attitude when you're going into your work. Needles need to be switched out more often than you think. Needles need to be switched out more often than you think. Most needles need to be switched after 8 to 12 hours of work, depending on the needle. But if you are noticing an uncommon amount of thread breaks, try switching out your needle first to see if that resolves your issue. And that's pretty much what I preach all the time. If you're starting to have issues, change your needle first. See if that fixes it. The simplest answer a lot of times will fix it. So start there. Change your needle. If that still doesn't fix the problem, then we'll investigate into other things. But try that needle first. And yes, it does need to be switched out. There's a titanium coated needle that you can purchase. I think these are titanium in this particular pack. And you can kind of tell because with these needles, they have a gold plating on them as opposed to most needles that are all silver. So this gold plating or this gold, needle lets me know that this one actually is supposed to last a little bit longer than that. So instead of it being 8 to 12 hours, you're looking at more like 18 to 24 hours instead, supposedly, according to the needle manufacturer. So definitely, if you're having issues, change the needle first. Number 8, you are better off making any adjustments to your design in your software as compared to in the embroidery machine. Now, some of these commercial embroidery machines, that may not necessarily be the case because they're made to have some digitizing aspect to it, and you can enlarge and reduce and all of that stuff in those machines. But in the Redline does allow you to adjust the size of the design in the machine, but it will not increase or decrease the amount of stitches in the design. It will only adjust the scaling of the design. So always use your software to make any substantial changes to the scale of your design, right? So when you enlarge, we have a video on this. When you enlarge a design and make it bigger, you need to have more stitches to fill in those spaces. And the illustration that I use for that is knitting. So if you're going to knit a sweater for that, you have a niece and you knitted her a sweater, and she wants you to have a matching sweater so she can match her auntie. Well, if you knit yourself a sweater, are you going to use the same skein, the same amount of yarn that you used on her sweater to make yours? That's not going to cover very much. I just need you to know that. It's not going to cover enough. So in order to make sure you are properly covered, you're going to need to add to the amount of yarn you use for her shirt to use yours. On the opposite end, if you have a sweater and she wants one, you're not going to use those same 3 skeins of yarn that you did for your shirt to make for hers, because that's way too much yarn. Her shirt will be all dense and stiff. It won't be nice and flexible and soft. Same principle. So same principle with your reducing and enlarging your embroidery designs. You need to compensate the amount of stitches with that. Number 9, you can do anything that you can think of with your embroidery machine. The 15 needle you can stitch on leather, canvas, shoes, denim, backpacks, even vinyl. There are almost practically limitless options on how you can succeed in embroidery. You have to study to know what fabrics will work with whatever stabilizer or the types of needles that you will need. Even what hoops makes everything easier to stitch out. There is a recipe for everything. So as long as you know what makes what works, okay? You can be successful. It's going to take some homework, no matter what embroidery machine you have. Because you best believe if you need to stabilize it a certain way on the Redline, then you'll still need to stabilize it that same certain way on a single needle home embroidery machine. It doesn't matter. That's very important, that stabilizer. And and what hoops to use. I have a hard time with some of the needles fitting the space. It's hard to get the needle to push all the way up, and I don't understand why. Are you opening it up all the way? It may be you might need another needle gripper part. I don't know what they call that, but we'll talk to Christian about that. A lot of machines being advertised for cheap have no percent physical tech support. No, they do offer, as I mentioned, they even do video conferencing to help you learn your machine. JC Productions, I'm very new at this, and I want to have a machine that I could do some work and sell some items. Already do sublimation, and I already have a laser cutting as well as 3D printing. So I just want to, and I soon get into doing embroidery. Yeah, embroidery. Thank you, Pink's Tees and Things. I appreciate you catching our live too. Thank you very much. Um, embroidery is a lot of fun, and it adds that extra element to your business that you just can't get without doing embroidery. It's just something about embroidery. Like, for instance, this one person was showing us where she was going to sublimate. There was a girl that some kind of racing team. It wasn't like NASCAR racing, but some kind of racing. It was in one of the groups, and she was showing how she was showing the girl you could sublimate these shirts and do these really nice shirts. And the girl was like, "No, I want embroidery." It's like, if you have your stuff embroidered, then you are about it type situation. So embroidery is known for, really being nice. So yes, embroidery is a good thing to offer to your customers. The one other thing that you need to know about the Redline and any embroidery machine, really, because they all have computer parts to them, and the memory part of the computer can be jacked up at any time due to electrical surges or anything. Number 10, the Redline embroidery machine is always tested here in our facility for you. Each machine is similar, but not exactly the same. No two embroidery machines are the same. I'm going to tell you that now from experience. No two embroidery machines are the same. People ask me all the time, "Oh, you have the SE425. What is your tension set at?" Well, I mean, the tension is set at my tension for my machine. Your machine may need a higher tension. That's just how that goes, because for whatever reason, the environment that you're in, the cleanliness of the machine, the, as it mentioned earlier, the thread that you're using, your tension may have to be higher than mine. So just because my tension is set at something doesn't mean it's going to work like that for you and your equipment. So one thing Redline says we ask is that customers save their parameters on their machines in order to keep their original settings on your machine, so they don't have to worry if your machine goes down. You can always recover your machine settings if you save it on a USB stick and have that by itself. We do try to have it already saved on the USB stick sent in your toolbox. Check to see if the files are saved, and if not, try to save them on a separate USB stick. We have a video, or we'll have one available, on how to save your parameters, okay? And there is instructions out there on how to save the parameters. So definitely keep that in mind. And Christian, if you're able to go back and watch this video, I'll let you know about it tomorrow. But thank you for the 10 tips, because these tips transcend more than just Redline. It's actually really good all across the board for embroidery, and even some of them, pertain to just business in general and getting things done. Check the simplest thing. If something goes wrong, even with your Cricut, even with your DTF, check the simple things first. Then jump into the big boy stuff if the simple stuff doesn't work. Now I'm going to go back up into the chat because we have 15 minutes left, and make sure that I get the rest of the information. Anna Maria says Melco has 16 needles and runs around 14,000 to 16,000. Beautiful Soul responded, yes, but Melco has active feed, so you don't need to play with tension, and that's true. The Melco tension system is all regulated within the computer system. Joan, welcome. Caught you live. Must be God. So happy to be here for exactly what I need to learn. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. Third Gen Print, hello. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. JC Productions, what is currently the cheapest embroidery machine that has multiple needles? I will repeat my question in a different way. What is the cheapest needle count of embroidery machine? 12, 6, or 24 needles? There are a couple of embroidery brands that are less expensive than the Redline. I've heard nothing but horror stories out of those. I personally. So I wouldn't recommend those. But if you're curious, Ladybug was one. I just drew a blank on what the other one was. It was Ladybug was one, and the other one was at that trade show too. And I was like, what in the world? Never heard of that. I don't know how much what is the name of that machine? I don't know how much the BAI is. But this other machine, let me see something. I'll have to look it up because they were trying to get me to sell their machines, and it wasn't Holiyama, I think it was Holiyama, but I haven't heard negative, a horrible negative from them. But there are some issues there, especially in trying to get support during United States hours is a big deal with the Holiyama stuff. So you have to kind of catch up with somebody here in the US who already owns one and can help you walk through it. So, but that's not learning from the company per se. Marissa Danger says, do you use a tension gauge? If so, which one? I have one. Do I use it? No. I probably should because it would be helpful. And the one that I use, the one that I have, let's see if it is wrong thing. Hold on. I'll show you the one that I use right here. This is the one that I use. These are really good. So here's the Tajima embroidery thread tension gauge. This is the one I have. It looks like a pin. And it has, as you see, the little markings on the side measurements to help you read the tension. This I have. Now, one of these I thought about getting, but I have yet to buy one. Which this checks your bobbin tension for you. But a lot of that is because I was taught to, which I don't have a bobbin. And I could, as I mentioned, each machine is different. So I was taught to, hold the bobbin like this and bounce it. And it should release, not the whole thing like I just did. It should release thread as it bounces. But what I've learned, see, this doesn't. My tension is really high on this bobbin. So see, I'm bouncing it and it's barely releasing thread. So what I've learned with my Redline, it doesn't like a loose tension. It wants it tight like this. I tried to loosen it and it was like, you messing with my stuff, and it acted up. So I quickly put it back to where it was and no more issues. So a lot of it depends on your machine, what tension you should have. And that's why doing the H test is so very important in determining, because there are basic tension settings, but they may not work with your machine and it may not work with your thread. If you're using a metallic thread, it's definitely not going to be your basic regular tension because metallic threads need a lesser tension. So it just depends. But yes, the pin is the one that I use, and the this one is the bobbin one. And I'll put a link to these in the description because I didn't whoops, that's Facebook. I didn't post that in the I didn't know we were going to talk about a tension gauge, so that's not down there in the description. But as I mentioned, if you have the bobbin case and you hold it by the thing and you bounce it lightly like I'm doing it, in a lot of embroidery machines it should release, but mine doesn't like that, so I don't have it set that way. The other machine, yes, it loves that setting on my bobbin case. What would you recommend, and what is the price tag? So again, as far as I'm concerned, it's hard to keep up with 15 needles change. It is, but the industrial companies kind of like have it down to a science. It's like when you start today, that's what I do. Is change my needles, and if you have a job that you know is going to run you over 8 hours, then you kind of schedule that break in to get those needle changes done on the needles that you're using, and then get it going. Now, I don't necessarily agree with changing all needles, but you can actually put up a graph that shows the last time you changed that needle and what time, and that would be helpful. And we'll see about putting a graph up for folks. Quick question for you. Have you done anything with embroidery and sublimation, or embroidery and DTF, auto embroidery and direct to garment? I have used sublimation in embroidery. I've used rhinestones in embroidery. So yes, combining media actually turns out pretty darn good. The thing is, you have to plan ahead for that, especially with the bling. Because the design was made with certain areas to allow the rhinestones to be put in place for the emphasis. But a lot of it depends on what the customer wants, honestly. A lot of it depends on what the customer wants. But one instance is I've seen embroidered hoodies, but the label in the back was DTF. So it's not quite the same thing, but pretty close. I love the attitude comment. I sometimes stop what I am doing and take time to complete something that is a win. I know that's right. I do that too. And I need to not do that, but I do that too. If you're doing it for a living, then make sure there is good support. Datu says that is correct. Kim Sullivan says that's always my go-to, change the needle. Debbie says, I'm a newbie, been sewing for years, but I want to learn more about embroidery. Are there videos on your website in order of difficulty so I can learn at my own pace? Debbie, I wish there was. However, there are videos. If you go look on our YouTube channel and look at the playlist, the embroidery how-to videos are not necessarily in that order of difficulty, but they are there where you can apply the techniques as you need them in the embroidery how-to playlist. Leela says, yeah, we talked about that. So we definitely need to get up with Christian on your needles and making sure that your needles will fit. Howard makes the best gauge, Datu says. Still need to do sew outs after. That is correct. That's what that H test is for. I opened one up too much and everything fell apart. I had to put all that back together. No fun. Yeah, we need to find out what's going on with that particular needle holder, or the needle holder that you having issues with. A lot of cheap machines being advertised. Yeah, there are a lot of them out there that are crazy cheap, but you are taking a chance. The main reason I'm gonna tell. Okay, so for me, this is what sold me with Redline, and what made me even reach out to them to begin with. First of all, the cost of the final price of the machine versus what I'm getting in comparison to everywhere else. Yeah, you got big name brands out there. And there are some folks, for instance, going back to what everybody knows, and that's cars. Yeah, there are some folks out there that just refuse to drive anything but a Cadillac. Just got to have a Cadillac. I have a relative like that. He loves Cadillac. Matter of fact, he has a Cadillac, his wife has a Cadillac. I'm just like, I can't stand a Cadillac personally, but that's just my personal opinion. But then you got some other folks who just will not drive anything other than a Japanese car because they're known for the reliability. Then you got some folks that's like, if it's not made in USA, it's not going to be parked in my driveway. So you got different levels, but then you got the folks out there that are like, you know what? I need 4 wheels. I need it to drive, and I need it to be good on gas, and I need it to be a good value. But not raggedy. I need it to be somewhat reliable. I need to be reliable, but I need something that's going to be a good value for my investment, because this is an investment. And when I sat back and reviewed everything and talked to so many companies, oh my gosh, I talked to so many different embroidery companies back then, and it was just like none of them, it were like 675, 700 credit score. You got to have so many thousands of dollars. You know, it was just insane. And yet I called Redline and they were just the most kind, humble, just willing to help, talk me through things. I love Redline. I love the Redline embroidery machine. So for me, and ultimately the owner um was the most, you're talking about over 30 years of embroidery, industrial embroidery experience. Over 30 years of industrial embroidery experience. And it was just like, I was floored at the conversation we had, and how, in just explaining a few things, everything made so much sense as to why certain embroidery projects worked a certain way and other things didn't, and what could be done different. And man, I was enthralled to and honored to sit and talk to him. And Redline was my go-to. Now, of course, the final choice is up to you, and I'm not about to bash anybody for getting an embroidery machine, because, as I said, it's an investment. So it's up to you how you're going to invest your money. It's not up to me to tell you what to do with that, because it's just like I wouldn't tell you what to do with your bank account, and don't expect you to come and tell me what to do with mine. Same principle. But I can tell you my experience and what I went through and what I've enjoyed and what I didn't enjoy with my personal investment, and let you make the choice. So that's the reason for talking to you guys about this evening. Um, just like, JC Productions, I appreciate all the questions. All of you, I appreciate the questions that you have, because at the end of the day, whenever you make the decision to go into business, this is not a light decision. And so many people have chosen to jump on the entrepreneur bandwagon since the COVID. Okay. And not saying that's a bad thing, but that's a heavy responsibility that a lot of people are not looking at the bigger picture and understanding that this is not a decision that should be taken lightly. So I strongly suggest you don't leave any kind of job, your 9 to 5 regular go to, until whatever business it is that you decide to set up is matching the money and the income, disposable income, that you're getting from your job. That's when you can finally say, you know what, I can walk away from this because I won't miss anything. You'll miss the double income, but you won't miss it because you'll replace what you already have with this side thing that you've been doing that has grown into an actual business. But it's going to take sweat, it's going to take tears, it's going to take shortages, just like right now. The hat shortage, t-shirt shortage is a whole fool right now. It's causing a lot of problems. um and you're going to have instances where customers want their money back. You're going to have instances where everything you touch that day just not stitching out, probably just not working. You're going to have those days. And you're going to have days where you didn't make enough to buy the supplies that you need to get this next order done. But that's where you learn your next customer needs to pay for their own supplies and stuff. When you get to that point, that's golden. That's a golden spot to be in. So thank you all for joining me on this discussion. I'm trying to make sure I don't have any super juicy questions that I need to jump into. Good starter machine. If JC Productions, a lot of that again depends on your now that's a good recommendation, Datu, if you can find an embroidery shop that will let you work for free to learn. But not everybody has the time in their schedule to be able to do that. And not very many embroidery shops will stop and say, bruh, you can slow down our production because you're trying to learn. But aside from that, you can, again, do your research and look at your budget first and foremost, because if you only have $3,000, then looking industrial, looking at either one of these machines is just not an option right now, unless you find one used on the marketplace. So you need to check that first. Once you determine how much you have, then look into the equipment, see who can meet your budget or your financing options, and go from there. Like Datu did mention, it is a big investment. If it's not running, then you're not making money. So you do have to work in order to make money doing embroidery. Do research. My credit score took 105-point ding for 6 months investing, financing her equipment. Latasha, absolutely love your transparency. I really appreciate and value your what and how you're speaking to educate us. Is I can only I learn from others' examples. So that's one of the main things I look at. I don't just look at fluff and, oh my God, these people are giving me a kickback, so they're giving that person a kickback, so they're talking highly. But no, this is, I had the option for kickback and turned it down. So this is passion. This is pure passion for me. I love this machine. LOVE, top of the line, and it blew my business sky high because it was like I could now do whatever people wanted. Whereas with the other, yes, that blew up my business too, because I was able to go bigger in my embroidery, because before I was 4x4. With the addition of Blessing, the first machine, I was able to go bigger. But with this one, I'm able to do bigger, even bigger, and do hats ear to ear. And it was a lot. It was a big investment, and I'm grateful for it. What metallic thread do you use? Oh, there's several. But the ones that I definitely shoot for are the ones that are wound. They're not the flat metallic. You can't do the flat metallic. It's just not gonna work. So don't do those at all unless you're using it in bobbin thread. They work perfect for bobbins, but not for the top. Just a tip for making a major purchase: don't have a 3 or 4 company run a credit check. Major purchase, your credit score will take a major ding. And a lot of companies, some financing companies will say, we're trying to find somebody to finance you, and they'll run it through 3, 4 companies. So yeah, keep that in mind. Hey, Embroidery Diva, how are you? Pina, how long have you been doing embroidery? I have been doing embroidery since 2016. 5 years. I have been doing it 5 years. A lot of companies claim commercial industrial, but that depends on your workflow. We do 2 million stitches a day, 6 days a week on 4 heads. So figure 500,000 stitches a head per day. Yeah. Trisha asked the metallic thread as well. Does anyone know if the SWF 12 is an industrial? SWF is industrial, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, Kristen says it's middle of the road. Okay, I see where you responded. So, but I'm pretty sure it's industrial. I have to ask. I know someone with one, and I'll check and ask him what his 2 cents are on that. I bought the mail code. 16 needles will be delivered this week. Just starting my business. Congratulations, Diane Myers. Let us know next week when your baby arrives so we can ring the bell. I have had an amazing experience with embroidery. Been in the industry for 4 months. Started with the PRS 100, which is the single needle machine set up like the 6 needle. For 4 months with the and grinded countless hours day and night. Now I have a mail code got delivered 2 weeks ago. Congratulations on your mail code, Pina. Yeah, congratulations. Yes, that's what's up. Datu says I use the So Many Parts brand. Okay, I can run it at 800. So Many Parts brand. What needles? I missed the message on that. Linda Smith, still trying to find a name for my business. I want to make Christmas stockings. My husband came up with Around to It. Not sure if I like Around to It. around to it is I'll get around to it. That's cute. I like that. Does your Redline do an auto digitize for portraits? No, it does not. That auto digitize is more of a home commercial type setup, because in industrial we kind of get our logos and stuff for companies that are already set up and ready to go for business embroidery, whereas portraits and stuff like that is more of a individual type of embroidery situation. Kristen Smith, my credit score took an 84-point dive after a credit check for an embroidery machine. Ouch. How do you know what designs to offer? Your customers will let you know. Your customers will let. Oh, metallic thread. You use the So Many Parts brand of metallic thread. Okay, cool. Never heard of them. So you guys check out So Many Parts metallic thread. I'll look into that as well. And if it works pretty good for us, then we'll definitely feature it in a metallic video. But Diane, you know, what I learned is, and we'll close with this, what I learned is, in a lot of instances, the designs that I thought were super cute, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to offer this. My people are going to love this. They didn't want that at all. They were like, I have a design and this is what I want. Or the few times where I thought a design that I found would fit what somebody want, they sneered up at it and was like, I don't like that. I was like, feelings was hurt. Like, bruh, do you not realize this is a good, you know? So, you know, they'll tell you what they want if you're doing custom. If you're not doing custom and you only want to offer designs that you like, for instance, if you have a display in a boutique, for instance, then you want to go with trendy things. And a good place to look for trendy is like Embroidery Library. They're pretty much up on a lot of the trends of things that people would like. And you could do themed based on where you are. Like, for instance, in my neck of the woods, country designs are super popular. So like cowboy hats, even though we're not in Texas, cowboy hats, cowboy boots, livestock, you know, stuff like that. The retro pickup truck with the stuff in the back of it, that's pretty popular in this area. You know what I'm saying? Whereas other places, there may be other things that are more popular. So you kind of just, you know, look and see what's in your area, and you can go based off of that. But they'll tell you what they want. Definitely, for sure. So at any rate, I enjoyed talking to you guys tonight. Please, if you are looking to get into the embroidery business, you kind of want to aim high, because you want to be productive so that you can make money. Because if it's not making dollars, then it doesn't make sense, right? You want to be sure that your investment is making the return that you absolutely need in order to be able to walk away from a 9-to-5. But until then, don't walk away from your job. People, leave that stability, keep that stability, put up with it for just a little bit longer until you are able to achieve that level of income to replace what you currently have. And then you can take that leap of faith and be quite successful, might I add. So you have a lot of ups and downs and failures and things of that magnitude that you'll have to deal with and go through in order to get to the place where you can be your own legitimate boss. All right. And honestly, in the world of embroidery, you're really not your own boss. You're just not. Your boss is your customer. So every customer that walks through that door, you work for them and you design and embroider and do what they want you to do. So they're your boss. So, you know, don't feel bad about it. It's not a bad thing, because at least you are still able, for the most part, to make your own schedule. But, you know, just be realistic about what you got going on and what you have coming to you. And be assured that we are here behind you every step of the way. And we only wish you the best of success. All right, you guys have a great night. I am off for the rest of the evening to have some sweet dreams because I'm tired. All right, you guys. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you being here. Please join us on the Facebook. Post any comments you have about the video today on our channel. And we thank you so very much for taking the time out of your schedule to be here with us this evening. Thanks. Have a good night. Bye.